Hey guys, how are you today? So I'm coming on to talk about the topic that we hear when you go to the doctor. So as y'all know, I am Belize Spivey. I'm the STD Life Coach. I help African American women living with herpes. But as y'all know, I also assist other individuals who are newly diagnosed with other STDs. If you just need support, if you need somebody who understands, if you need to learn how to disclose, if you learn how to get your confidence back, then I am that person for you to get you to that place. But today we're going to talk about being exposed. When you go to the doctor, we hear this term of you have been exposed to herpes. And when you hear you have been exposed, all this stating to you is that you have the virus. It's very confusing to hear that I'm exposed, that I am positive. It's very confusing to hear that you exposed or do I have it. So my whole thing is I want to come to you really fast, not long at all, to let you know if you have ever heard that you have been exposed to herpes, the chances are, and it is, that you have the virus. So I don't want you to be confused with that, because I have heard many people, I even had it myself, that, well, when I found out, I ended up having the getting a swab. So I got a PCR. A PCR is a swab. So they swabbed my outbreak and then let me know right away that it was herpes. You have other people who their doctors see it visually and say that looks like herpes. If you ever have a doctor say it looks like herpes, make sure they do a PCR. Make sure they do a swab test of that, or simply tell them, can you do a blood test as well? Only way to find out what type is to do a blood test. Just because it's genital doesn't mean it's type 2. It can be type 1, okay? Even oral. Just because it's on your mouth doesn't mean it's type 1. It could be type 2. So the only way that you can find out the type is getting a blood test. With that blood test, you got two types. And I always like to tell you got two types. So you have your IgM blood test. That blood test lets you know when the first initial antibodies come about. So this, when you get this test, that means this virus is fairly new, because it's new. It's new antibodies. You only get antibodies because your body is trying to fight it off. That's why you have antibodies anyway. Okay, so that's initial. That is your first time getting the virus. It's new. IgG lets you know that the virus has been there for 12 to 16 weeks. Okay, 12 to 16 weeks. 12 to 16 weeks. It can show up a little bit early as 3 weeks, but typically it's 12 to 16 weeks that virus has been in your body. Okay, so it's important that you understand all these tests. And then you got the Western blot. The Western blot is best if you are really close to the positive negative line. The positive negative line is 1.09. If you're over 1.09, it states that you have the virus. So if you got 1.10 or really close, if you're not concerned, or you're right at 1.09, I would tell you go get tested again and try to tell them to do a Western blot. Western blot is best for false negatives or false positive. They let you know for sure if you have the virus or not. To find out what type of strain you have, I think it's I'm feeling like I'm going to say this wrong. The IgM test lets you know if it's type 1 or type 2. Okay? When you get an IgG test, if you see your test results, they will say IgG HSV1 and then IgG HSV2. So they have to do both strands with the IgG test, but if you do an IgM test, it will tell you what strand it is. Okay, so let me go back over that. If you hear exposed, you have the herpes virus. Antibodies is the way to determine if you have the virus. Okay, they're not doing it based off blood, they're doing it based off of antibodies. Antibodies are developed when a virus is trying to attack your body. Your body develops these antibodies to try to fight it off. Okay, so the way to figure that out is with a PCR test. If they see it, they swab it. Okay, don't just say, oh, it looks like. Tell them to swab it to confirm that's what it is. I want us to know that many other STDs has bumps, like HPV has warts. Even though it looks a little different, it could be that, and you're not sure, make sure you get tested for that. Syphilis also has bumps as well. Sores, things, or lesions, if you want to say, as well. So it's very important that you make sure you get tested to make sure, and make sure they swab it to make sure that is what it is. You don't want to assume of I think it is not good enough for you. You need to know based off a test result for sure that is what it is, and they did some type of testing on it to confirm that for you. So if it say exposed, then you have the virus. Based off antibodies is how we figure out if we have a positive or negative. You find out if you have a positive or negative. If it's over a 1.09, it lets you know that you're positive. Okay, so if you're looking at your test results, if it's over a 0.109, that you have the virus. If you are at a 1.09, then you are in the it's a yay or nay. So I will tell you to go back and get tested. They will typically tell you to go get tested again in 3 months, okay? To confirm it. I know 3 months is long, but they just want to give you some time. They say that because they'll give you an IgG test. That IgG test takes 12 to 16 weeks. Boom, they kind of give you into that span if you have it for sure, and it'll jump over to the IgG test just to confirm for you if that's what it is. If it's below 1.09, you do not have the virus based off the antibodies, okay? So just know, just because your antibodies are really high doesn't mean you had the virus for long. Just because your antibodies are really low doesn't mean that you had the virus for long. And I will tell you, when you eat right, things like that, those antibodies will go down because your body is literally getting to a place where it's level. So your antibodies will go down. If you're eating properly, taking herbs, things of that nature, I will tell you your antibodies will go down. Okay. You'll see the numbers start to decrease down because you're taking care of your body and you're not having an outbreak. When you have an outbreak, then your antibodies go up again because your body is trying to fight it. Okay. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't, but those antibodies just let you know that your body is trying to fight off a virus that is in your body. Okay. So I hope this made sense. I hope it was clear as it could be. I didn't want this video to be long, but I wanted to clear that up because so many people are getting their test results, and when they get their test results, their doctor is not saying yes you have it or no you have it. They're simply saying, or if you say no, they say no you don't have it, or they're saying you're exposed, and you're looking like, do I have it or not? If they tell you you have been exposed to herpes, then they're basically saying you're exposed, and right now you probably don't have an outbreak. Especially, they typically say exposed when you're having a blood test, okay? They say you've been exposed to herpes. It's because they don't have no physical outbreak on you, so you have been exposed to the virus. But until you have an outbreak, they really just going to say you've been exposed to it. And they'll say, well, we can't confirm that you have herpes without an outbreak. That's not true. You have the herpes because of the antibodies. It lets you know that the virus is in your body. It's no guarantee that you'll have an outbreak at all. Also, the blood test will not confirm where your outbreaks will be. So if you never had an outbreak, you will never know until you have an outbreak. I know that's frustrating, but you will not know. So asking your doctor where it's going to be will get the same answer. You won't know. Asking me that question, it'll be the same answer. We will not know. You have to have an outbreak. So that's another reason why the doctors use that terminology, exposed, because it's like you was exposed to it, but it's not letting us know that it's affecting your body. It's not letting us know that you have had an outbreak. So we're just going to say you've been exposed. It's been exposure to it, but we don't see any side effects of your exposure. So just want to give y'all that. That's the terminology that's being used in the medical field right now, is exposed or exposure, things of that nature. So if you ever hear that, just know, okay, so you're saying I have the virus without any symptoms, or you're telling me I got an infection without any symptoms. Okay. And you can hear this across the board for any other thing as well. When you go to the doctor and they say, oh, you've been exposed to such and such, but you don't have any symptoms. So we are not going to treat you until you get symptoms. Okay. Because they want to know if you have symptoms, then you may be in pain, suffering, things of that nature, or it can cause to damage other organs. And I'm talking about in general, any conditions that we're not going to be very concerned until it happens. If anybody have ever been exposed or have doctors have seen stuff, they're like, oh, no biggie, we're not going to trip about it until something happens, type thing. And this is kind of the same when they say you're exposed to herpes. Oh, we're not going to do much. We're not going to, they'll tell you to come back when you have an outbreak so we can, we'll give you antivirals. But you can also still ask for antivirals. It's like, well, I don't want to wait until I have an outbreak to have antivirals. I want to have the antivirals on me. So that is that. I hope this helped you in so many ways. Make sure to share. Make sure you like it. Make sure you comment below and tell me your experience if you ever had been told that you've been exposed to herpes and you didn't know the heck that it was talking about. So I love you guys, and we'll be talking soon. Bye.